In the sports world, faith and belief are often used to describe the confidence we have in our abilities to perform the skills associated with any sport. We often hear, I believe I can, followed by whatever skills are vital to outcompete a competitor. Or we have faith. These are the mantra for motivating us for success. Our success in sports, however, depends primarily on our ability to perform. If we have any confidence in our skills and ability, then we believe we can outperform our competitors. If we have confidence in our skills and abilities, then we may have faith we will persevere against our competitors. Our performance is dependent on the confidence we have in ourselves, but our performance is the demonstration of our confidence, the belief or faith we have in our abilities. Our confidence, however, is dependent on our previous demonstrated actions, and if we haven't performed the action in the past to develop the skills, then it is unlikely we can truly believe we can do anything with any degree of success. And how would we have any confidence that we can perform the skills necessary to outcompete competitors if the skills required in a particular sport haven't been developed through repeated and ongoing demonstrations? Belief, faith, and confidence comes after we've demonstrated the behaviors enough to believe in our ability. We can state that we believe we can do something, but that belief, that faith is unfounded until we have demonstrated the behaviors enough through practice. I loved playing volleyball, and I had the skills to believe with confidence I could compete against 95% of the players in America and do well. But developing those skills took nearly a decade of playing and practicing at elevated levels. I believed in my abilities, but only after years of demonstrating the acts required to play volleyball. Belief and faith weren't realized until after I learned the skills, performed the acts at high levels, and when demonstrated acts became instinctual. It was then that I had confidence, belief, and faith that I could compete against almost anyone. Faith in sports is something that is developed over time, an exercised effort. Hitting a baseball doesn't seem extremely difficult when we watch professionals play, but a player with even the greatest confidence in his ability to bat hits the ball and successfully makes it to base on average, say, less than 30% of the time. To even reach this percentage, the player must believe he can do it. To be successful, however, it is vital that he perform the acts of hitting thousands and thousands of times. Belief or confidence increases as the acts are performed more and more. If the hitter fails to demonstrate the acts through practice, then belief or confidence in oneself will not be developed. We must first demonstrate the acts of faith, then we'll develop faith. If a pro baseball player doesn't practice hitting, then he will never develop the confidence, the faith to hit. Fielding a baseball doesn't seem extremely difficult when we watch professionals play, but a player with even the greatest confidence in his ability to field a ball still doesn't field it cleanly more than, say, 90% of the time. Then he still must make a throw to one of the basemen. Both of these events need to occur in a rapid and consecutive fashion. To accomplish these tasks and complete these skills, the player must believe he can do it. To be successful, however, it is vital that he perform these acts thousands and thousands of times. Belief or confidence increases as the acts are performed more and more. Faith in one's ability isn't realized before a single event, but only after the player has demonstrated the acts repeatedly in multiple events. Dribbling a basketball appears to be a very simple task. A player only develops confidence in his ability to dribble after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his abilities, he cannot believe he can successfully dribble in and around opposing players for the purposes of making a basket or setting someone else up for making a basket. We must first practice the acts of dribbling to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Shooting a basketball appears to be a very simple task. A player only develops confidence in his ability to shoot after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his ability, there's no way he can believe he can successfully shoot a basket. We must first practice the acts of shooting to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Making a free throw appears to be a very simple task. A player only develops confidence in his ability to make a free throw after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his abilities, there's no way he can believe he can successfully make a free throw. We must first practice the act of shooting a free throw to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Passing a football accurately to intercept a moving target appears to be a very simple task. Quarterbacks do it all the time. A player only develops confidence in his ability to pass a football after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his ability, there's no way he can believe that he can successfully pass a football in and around opposing players for the purposes of successfully intercepting the moving target. We must first practice the acts of passing to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Catching the football while running complex patterns in and around other people appears to be a very simple task. Receivers do it all the time. A player only develops confidence in his ability to catch a football after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his abilities, there's no way he can believe he can successfully catch a football in and around opposing players for the purposes of successfully intercepting the thrown ball. We must first practice the acts of catching the football to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Successfully hitting a tennis ball with a tennis racket while running and placing it in a strategic position on the court appears to be a very simple task. Tennis players do it all the time, to an extremely high degree of accuracy. However, a tennis player only develops confidence in his ability to successfully hit and place the tennis ball after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his abilities, there's no way he can believe he can successfully hit and place a tennis ball. We must first practice the acts of hitting a tennis ball with a racket while running to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Driving a golf ball a fair distance in the direction of the hole while keeping it within the fairway appears to be a very simple task. Golfers do it all the time. However, a golfer only develops confidence in his ability to accurately drive a ball after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his ability, there's no way he can believe he can successfully hit a golf ball with distance and accuracy. We must first practice the acts of golfing to establish any faith in our ability to do so. Putting a golf ball in the direction of the hole while navigating the terrain and distance appears to be a very simple task. Golfers do it all the time. However, a golfer only develops confidence in his ability to accurately putt a golf ball after years of demonstrated practice. Without practice and confidence in his abilities, there's no way he can believe he can successfully putt a golf ball with accuracy and consistency. We must first practice the acts of putting to establish any faith in our ability to do so. In every sport, the skills required to develop confidence, a belief or faith in one's abilities to compete must be attended to for years. Although we can articulate the words we believe or I have faith, we can do this or that, our faith and belief in our abilities come only after we develop the necessary skills. And developing these skills only comes through repeated behavioral acts specific to the sport. I believe an argument can be made regarding our faith and belief in Jesus and our Father. We can articulate the words, but do we truly believe? Do we truly have faith? And more importantly, do we truly love our God? We have all witnessed Christians become overwhelmed during their first church service and immediately declare their faith, belief in, and their love for their new God in less than an hour. It's not that I don't believe that our God can move people and transmit spiritual energy and information in an instant. In fact, Paul seems to be a benefactor of such a phenomenon. I see this type of experience as sort of an association to and an acceptance of the experience of the service, and possibly the message and performance ability of a talented animated preacher. Belief and faith require an understanding of and an identification with the message and the messenger, and that requires time and effort, more than the time allotted in a typical service. I have been in the presence of dozens and dozens of preachers, and none of them I can remember provided an accurate synopsis of the message of the kingdom of heaven, even over months and months of service time. I have been critically studying the Bible for decades now, and it wasn't until just recently that I can confidently state I believe I understand who Jesus is and what he's asking us to do, what he's commanding us to do. Faith and belief are important steps in actualizing our faith, but they're mid-level steps at best. But to get there, seriously get there, more than simply saying I believe, we must first work through the message and truly understand it and the messenger. Because how can we truly believe in or have faith in something and someone until we know who the messenger is and the message he's promoting? To understand who the messenger is, we may need to know what his qualifications are, what authority and ability he possesses to bring about whatever it is he's indicating he'll bring about, and how we fit into the picture in thought and behavior. To accomplish this, we must work through the New Testament and spend enormous amounts of time doing so, not for the purposes of memorizing individual passages, but to comprehend the concepts. Individual passages often conflict with one another, but concepts span chapters, books, and authors. By understanding the parables and stories Jesus provides us, the Lord's Prayer, and where he's quoted by authors, we can begin to understand who he is and what he's asking from us. If we're at the point in which we've developed faith, then we should also be at a point in which we can understand and identify with these concepts at the very least. However, as a faithful Christians, we need to begin to act on our faith as soon as possible and demonstrate them. Jesus has commanded us to love our God first and foremost, and to love one another. Jesus further indicated that if we love him, then we will do whatsoever he commands, and he commands us to love one another. So to demonstrate our love for our God, our first objective, we must love one another in all the ways love can be manifested. It is in the parables, stories, in the Lord's Prayer, and the various passage sets in which he indicates how love may be manifested through the demonstrated acts of charity, mercy, forgiveness, and preaching. In conclusion, athletes may develop faith in their abilities through repeated behavioral acts demonstrating the skills involved in their sport. It's not until they've mastered the necessary skills in which they develop a belief, a faith, and a confidence in their abilities. The more time we put in practicing the skills required to master a sport, the better we'll become. In developing our faith as Christians, it's not much different. Faith and belief are meaningless unless we act on our faith, demonstrating the behavioral acts which Jesus has indicated he expects from us. The better we get at demonstrating love to one another, the better Christians we'll become. We'll be depositing heavenly credit, of which we'll have access to in the kingdom of heaven. In the end, as a proto-athlete, if we fail to spend the time practicing the specific skills of a sport, then we simply won't be competitive in that sport. We can still play in pickup games and go to sporting events, dreaming of what could have been, but our hope of becoming a competitive athlete will not be realized, despite our understanding and identification with the sport. As Christians, if we fail to demonstrate love in all the ways it may be manifested, despite our faith and understanding, then our hope won't be realized. However, like sports fans, we can still attend church services, sing and praise God, believing faith alone will realize our hope. But if we love Jesus, truly love him, like truly faithful Christians should, then we should be doing our best to do whatsoever he has commanded us to do. Love one another through the demonstrated acts of charity, mercy, forgiveness, and preaching. We are Christian Sojourn, and this is the message of the kingdom of heaven.